Hello, Buttercup. Thank you for joining me today on my book review of Penpal by Dathan Auerbach. I think I got that name correct. Sorry if I didn't. It looks very German, and yeah, German's hard. I'm just letting you know. That was a weird transition. I'm so sorry. I had to get the book. This is a very, I was gonna say calm. It's not calm. It's a creepy, but not in an overt way cover, and I appreciate that. Now, this book was originally Reddit posts. Was it like on Creepypasta? I know it was on Reddit. Wait, Creepypasta isn't on Reddit, is it? I don't have a Reddit account. I don't go on Reddit. I don't know. I just know that it was originally just short stories on Reddit, and then the fans said that you should do a Kickstarter. And then like the Kickstarter happened and it like surpassed its goals in like 2011, 2012. It was early for Kickstarter, I'm not gonna lie. I was impressed. And so now this book is completed with the short stories. Now, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Before we get into why and talking about the 4 stars instead of 5 stars, let's just read the summary. It's short, okay? In an attempt to make sense of his own mysterious and unsettling childhood memories, a man begins to reconstruct his past. As the games and adventures of his youth become engulfed by a larger story, he finds that it forms a tapestry of unbelievable horror that he never could have expected. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator, and by the end of it all, you will wish that you could forget what he never knew. It's a little shiny, so I'm just gonna put this right here. And hopefully it doesn't fall. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So now 4 to 5 stars. I already accidentally snuck a peek. There's a picture, 2-page spread picture, right? Yeah, of a police report, and it just said stalking. And I read the summary, and I read the first few pages of chapter 1, and I was like, okay, so it's a pedo stalking a child. And I was right. You know, if you know, you know, and that was, there are just some things where it's, for me, obvious as a storyteller, and so it's depressing, but it's also like, yeah, this is gonna be the story. Nathan, who joined us for Penpal, also got that, so shout out to us. In the weirdest way fucking possible. And by the way, this is not safe for work. It's in the title, but I'm just gonna say don't watch this out in public or anything like that. Sorry, I should have said that 3 minutes before or whatever, but it's in the title. Okay, moving on. So I like the creepy, mysterious mood and the prose and the style that creates that atmosphere throughout the novel, though I know some people didn't like the prose and thought that it was bad or that it was poorly written. I've read way worse. Okay, so I'm not completely sure where people are coming from. All they're saying is it's just written badly. They're not giving examples on Goodreads, so I think it's just that they didn't like the writing style and not necessarily it was bad writing, because it's not like he sat down, she sat down next to him and smiled, he smiled back and stood up. Like, it's not that, so I don't know what's going on there. I realized that this is another main character without a name, and I have been told by big fans that the writer did that on purpose, because this has no paranormal or otherworldly antagonist. It is a pedo going after a child or children, and therefore you don't need to add anything extra. Like, that is terrifying, that's horrifying, that's disgusting. You don't need to add a ghost or a demon or, you know, whatever. This is real life this is scary, this happens, and the main character is not named because it's kind of like you're living as the main character. And I can see why that was chosen, because it does make it very creepy, because you're figuring out things going through the book. Now, why is it 4 stars out of 5? Well, 1 star was completely taken off because the timeline jumps around too much and it's hard to follow. The ending was a bit rushed, and spoiler alert, I don't completely understand the pedo's motives by the end. It does not particularly make sense. And so I had to speak to someone who already read the book to understand what the timeline was, and we're pretty sure that we figured that out. But that goes into the ending part where it does not make complete sense. And I'm gonna try and not major spoil everything, okay? Because I do recommend this book. But you have to talk it out, or else you're not going to understand the timeline. And then where the pedo ends up and how he's killed, and then what happens with that, it's not the main character, it's actually someone else. Okay, and not very plausible. I'm gonna go with plausible, and that's fine, because I highly doubt that the author was like, let's go do really in-depth research on how pedos are, though I know a lot of horror and psychological thrillers and suspense writers will do that. Is it like accurate in the pathology? That's hard to say, especially at the end, and I'm trying not to spoil it, but it's I think that the ending could have been better and more fleshed out, and it therefore would make way more sense, and I wouldn't be struggling so much to, 1, figure out what was going on, and then 2, give it 5 stars. But then again, this is, I'm pretty sure, the first work of the author, and like, it was originally on Reddit. It's not like it's a huge project that you're trying to make a pathological accuracy type of book. It's to creep you out, and it's also, I think the moral of this story is to share information. The mom pissed me off. That's who pissed me off, the mom, because you need to share the information with the other parents in the neighborhood. You're just gonna keep that to yourself, that there's a pedo walking around? Are you serious? Are you serious? You're, I'm gonna say, messed up. So messed up. Okay. Always talk about weird shit that happens to your child with the other parents. Yes, because if that happened, then we wouldn't have this book. But in real life, please speak to other parents about the weirdness that goes on. And if you're making police reports, then you need to speak to the parents as to why you're making police reports about a stalking pedo. Like, okay. Yeah, she pissed me off. And the main character is pissed off at her, so I feel justified in not liking her whatsoever. I do not. She was irresponsible. Point blank irresponsible for years, and okay. Don't like it. There are some parts where, like I said, doesn't completely make sense, but you have to possibly write stuff out. I had to write stuff out talking to the other person that read the book. And I saw, which is kind of funny, but maybe not, because it might be a little too complicated and maybe not making so much sense here. People on BookTube having a whole video dedicated to mapping out the time jumps and then putting it into a linear timeline to make sense of it. So there's also that type of thing going on. But if you have someone that you know that has also read it and you're confused, bounce that information off them and see if you figure it out. I had to do that and it took like 30 minutes or something. I don't know. But then we got it. We're here. Okay. And then we got to the end and I'm like, okay, 4 stars. That's a solid 4 stars. And I do recommend this book if you want creepy and disturbing, but it's not scary. I mean, I don't think any book is scary. Okay. But if you want creepy and disturbing because it's realistic, yeah, Penpal is definitely for you. Thank you so much for watching my book review, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, do some self-care, reading, writing, maybe sewing. I don't know what you do, but just do it because we all need it at a certain point during this year of 2024. I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now.